much for coming to our formal time of remembering those that have passed this last year. And there's sadness in that, because I know all of us miss certain people, and they made our lives joyful, and we have memories with them. So we also want to see this as a time of thankfulness. We're a week out from Thanksgiving, so I want us also in our hearts to give thankfulness for those that we know, those that we love, those that have impacted our lives, and that we had to say goodbye to in this past year. Before we get started in the formal portion, though, I want to express who's going to be in this service. One, I'm Dawn Lindholm, the chaplain here at Saratoga Retirement Community, and I love being a part of this family. The wonderful guitarist music today is Reggie Coates. He was a trooper. As you know, we were going to have Dave, and we've had him before, but he came down actually with COVID. So we quickly adjusted the minute he let me know, and I put out flyers to everyone I knew, basically, but Reggie jumped in there and said, I'd be happy to come. And so I've known Reggie for decades, actually, and we live in the neighborhood, but what you'll know about him is that Sherry, his wife, is the one that decorates for Christmas. But Reggie received a Bachelor of Arts degree in music performance and a teaching credential in music education from San Jose State, and he holds a Master of Science degree in entertainment business. He's taught music in public and in private lessons and private schools from elementary through college, and he is an award-winning songwriter and is also an avid certified instructor in Pro Tools and Sibelius leading music songwriting software. So thank you so much, Reggie, for being here for us. Carla Strand, we all know as our beloved wellness director. Marcia Chaikin is also one of our residents, but she's also a Jewish storyteller and has been faithfully organizing the Shabbats for us these past couple of years. So thank you for being here. Bev Linehan is our current resident council president. Thank you. And Rosalie Price is also a resident, but she's been one of the key people in bringing the Jewish community together for a very long time. And so we also are grateful for her. And not last or least is Colin Whitby-Strevens. He is our tech extraordinaire, so all the technical work you're seeing here, he has provided. But I also want you to know that he's a fabulous musician as well. He's an organist and a pianist, and he was jumping in right beside Reggie to say, I'll take care of the music as well. So I'm grateful for each person here, and I'm grateful for all of you that are part of this service in heart and in mind and soul. Frederick Buckner, well, I'll say it. We come together today with various faiths and perspectives, yet we all come together today to remember and give thanks to family and friends we have known at Saratoga Retirement Community, as well as loved ones outside our community. We will have a time to remember them as well. We can unify under the commonality that loss and death comes to each and every one of us. Today is a day for us to remember. Frederick Buckner, in a book called A Room Called Remember, he wrote, "The time is right for looking back over the day, the week, the year, and trying to figure out where we have come from and where we are going. For sifting through the things we have done and the things we have left undone, for a clue who we are and who we, for the better or worse, are becoming. But again, we avoid the long thoughts. We cling to the present out of wariness of the past. And why not, after all? We get confused. We need such escape as we can find, and we've needed escapes in these last year and a half, haven't we? But there's a deeper need yet, I think, that as this is a need, not all the time, surely, but from time to time, to enter that still room within us, all where the past lives on as part of the present, where the dead are alive again, where we are most alive ourselves to turnings and to where our journeys have brought us. The name of the room is Remember. The room where the patience, with clarity, with quietness of heart, we remember consciously to remember the lives we have lived.
I read of a man who stood to speak at a funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth, and now only those who love them know what that little time is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that still can be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about you and how you lived your dash?
Psalm 23, a Psalm of David. Please read with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for the sake of his name. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me. You set a table before me in the front of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
4 stones. I adapted this as we can't really have a lot of lighting in the rooms here. So I changed it. It was actually candles, 4 candles. It came from a story of 4 candles. So I changed it to 4 stones. But first I want to say that Henry Nouwen, a Catholic theologian, wrote, "What to do with our losses? We must mourn our losses. We cannot talk or act them away, but we can shed tears over them and allow ourselves to grieve deeply. To grieve is to allow our losses to tear apart feelings of security and safety and leads us to the painful truth of our own brokenness. Our grief makes our experience the abyss of our own life in which nothing is settled, nothing is clear or obvious, but everything is constantly shifting and changing." I know we all have had that feeling very much in these past couple years. But in the midst of all this pain, there's a strange, shocking, yet very surprising voice. It is the voice of the one who says, "Blessed are those who mourn, they shall be comforted." That's the unexpected news. There is a blessing hidden in our grief. Not those who comfort are blessed, but those who mourn. Somehow in the midst of our tears, a gift is hidden. Somehow in the midst of our mourning, the fresh steps of the dance takes place. Somehow, in the cries that well up from our losses, belong to our songs of gratitude. What happens when we die? Is there a life after death? These are questions that humans have always asked and always pondered because we always look towards our end and our own demise. So it's a personal question as well as to our friends and our family. Virtually all societies have believed that death is not the end. How that life is pictured is enormously different. The Christian hope of resurrection is based on Christ's promises and his own victory over death. As Jesus prepared his disciples for the fact that he was going to die, rise, and return to the glory of heaven, he assured them that he was going to prepare a place for them. He said, "He is the way, the truth, and the life, and believing in him brings us to God and to heaven." In any of the religions, they do not give a full picture of what heaven might look like. That's our ultimate surprise, isn't it? And we all have pictures of what that should look like. I know some people don't want to think of disembodied human beings floating around on a cloud. That does not sound appealing. I know some that said forever singing songs does not sound appealing to them. But it doesn't say that that's what it actually is. What I do know is that it will be a place of beauty. It will be a place of rest. I think it will be a place of curiosity where we get to ask questions and possibly hear some answers. And for the answers of why, some of them won't matter anymore to us. But we ponder and we wonder. What the Bible says is that with the share of Christ's victory over death, in dying, he dealt with the problem of sin and consequences, including death. It encourages us to go on living, loving, and serving when we are faced by suffering and death, to consider there is something more and better to come. Because I do not believe, and my hope is, death is not the end. Sometime I'll share with you some of my experiences with people that have passed before. And for those who do not believe in heaven, we also have a legacy to leave to those that are following in our footsteps. And so what we do right now, even how we mourn, we are teaching those in the next generation how to do this well. And there's a good way and there's a bad way to mourn. And our children learn from us what it's like to be in the lead, even in death. For those who hold a different faith or no faith at all, we can agree with Terry Pratchett, who wrote, "Do you not know that a person is not dead while their names are still spoken?" So very true. A gift to each one of us when our loved one's name is spoken to us, right? We've all had that experience where somebody doesn't want to say the name of your beloved that has died, and then somebody says their name, and it brings solace and joy to our hearts to know that they're still alive in somebody else's memory besides ours. And so we come to the 4 rocks. The first stone represents our grief. The pain of losing you is intense. It reminds us of the depth of our love for you. The second stone represents our courage to confront our sorrow, to comfort each other, to change our lives. The third stone we hold in your memory. For the times we laughed, for the times we cried, the times we were angry with each other, the silly things you did, the caring and the joy you gave us. This fourth stone we hold as the weight of our love. We consider these stones as the weight of your life that never goes away. As we enter this holiday season and share this night, this day of remembrance with our families and friends, we cherish the special place in our hearts that will always be reserved for you. We thank you for the gift of your living that brought us joy. We love you and we remember you. We've come to the portion of writing, saying their names. And as we say these names, we will drop a rock into the water in the bowl. A rock is solid, as is our relationships with those that have died and those that we loved. They stay on the water as the water continues to flow, like our lives over the rocks. The rocks are always there, a solid experience and memory that will always be a part of the stream of our lives. John Steve Adler, Gary Albrand, Muriel Alexander, Ann Beebe, Eleanor Berkowitz,
Pauline Berkowitz, Shirley Blake, Marion Boyer, Richard Bradley, and Herbert Bush.
Margaret Coogan, Armand Conti, Ronald Deese, Dorothy Engen, Barbara Furchy,
H. Dana Moran, Judy Oppenheimer, Jocelyn Orr, Robert Pfeiffer, Lori Prescott.
Carol Lee Reed, Patricia Wynn, Richard Roof, Richard Sharp, Donald Sorensen,
Edwin Spikerman, Elliot Yo Swanson, John Watson Williams, Esther Wedner, Ann Weiler. We also remember loved ones. Sheldon Ehrlich, Sandy Ehrlich's husband, who died in 2020. Joan Hammond, Dawn Bryan's mother. Sierra Humfeld, Chaplain Dawn's niece. Paula O'Connor, Helen Connolly's sister. Keith Barden, Sing Barden's husband, who died in 2020. And now we would invite any of you who would like to share a name. We will be dropping a stone for them. We invite any of you to put forth a name.
Just raise your hand and I'll bring it to you.
my brother, Mark Rosenblum, my friend, Shep Bloom.
My mother, Rosemary Robinson. My aunt, Benita Reed.
My sisters, Carol and Leslie.
My dad, Mohammed.
Our grandson, Jake Thomas. Our dear friends, Margaret Kirk, Jane Kirk, and my dearest friend, Karen Colson. Roger's brother who died in May, or my brother who died last month, and for our brother-in-law who died last week.
Her daughter, Reagan Caputo, who died last year.
For our good friends, George Dirksen, Ron Myrick, and Larry Altoff.
Anyone else? I'll say my son Timothy Lindholm.
and for our dear friend Dorothy Stowe, who died a week ago.
There'll be time at the end if you prefer to have a private time and take a rock yourself and drop it in. Please feel free to. This is your time to remember. Thank you so much. And now we'll have just some quiet meditation and think of that beloved one that you named today. Remember this precious memory that you want to keep and hold on to.
Please join me in this responsive reading. At the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the skies and the warmth of summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us. We remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. For as long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us. We will remember them.
art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our transgressions, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
The memory of the righteous. To everything there is a season, a time for everything under the sun, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to dance and a time to mourn, a time to seek and a time to lose. This is the time we remember those who gave meaning to our lives. This is the time we remember the bonds that tied us together, the love that we shared, and the memories that remain with us still.
Goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes. Because for those who love with their hearts and soul, there is no such thing as separation. Personally, from my heart, I love being here with you, walking this path. And I tell people the challenge for me is that most of my friends are older and I lose them over and over again. But I wouldn't trade them for the world. So thank you for enriching my life as well. The benediction: go forth into this world with peace. Be of good courage. Hold fast to what is good. Render to no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the afflicted. Honor everyone. Love and serve out of grateful hearts. And may the blessings of good memories of friends and loved ones at Saratoga Retirement Community be remembered and remain with each of you always. Go in peace.